Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advanced. This is another amazing game from FIDE Swiss 2025. With the white pieces, we have Aydin Suleymanli, a very strong Azerbaijani Grandmaster, and with the black pieces, we have Murali Karthikeyan, a very strong Indian Grandmaster. So this game is going to be one amazing game, one to watch out for, and definitely one of the best games of the first round. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Aydin starts with e4, we have c5, knight to f3, knight to c6, and c3. We go into the Alep Sicilian defense, and whenever an Alep is on the board, the game is going to be absolutely spectacular. It's just knight to f6, e5 now, knight to d5, bishop to c4, and knight to b6 attacking the bishop. We have bishop to b3, c4, and this is all part of Murali Karthikeyan's prep. Bishop to c2, but just d6, and now e captures, queen captures on d6 castles, and now just going for bishop to g4. Sometimes when you face preps, most likely what happens is you start to burn time, and that's what he expected from Aydin Suleymanli. But in this position, Aydin Suleymanli is actually up on time. He is 137, and that's absolutely crazy, because as the time proceeds and here Murali Karthikeyan plays more of his prep, but somehow just Aydin Suleymanli is actually playing up on time. He was actually up 142 by some time, and that's absolutely crazy, because either someone leaked his someone leaked his prep, or I don't know what happened, but just spending not even like seconds and just blitzing out the moves, it's insane. Here just h3, pushing the bishop back, bishop to h5, but just rook to e1, and now we have a queenside castle, knight to a3 now, but just queen to f6, and queen to f6 is a very nice move, and definitely something he's preparing here. Just you have to understand the rook is aligned very nicely with the queen. Knight is on a3. This bishop is not doing very much. You're not pushing d4 here ever, so somewhere along the line you're gonna have to understand what's coming, and I mean you can see it as well. b3 now, just trying to make some room for that bishop to come into the fianchetto, and also maybe just just trying to get rid of the pawn, because this is very annoying. But now just knight to d5, and knight caps on c4 was played, but now you could go for a very beautiful line that was played just one move later, after just one tempo later. Here just knight captures on c3 is very strong. But the best move here is in this position, you don't go for anything else. You don't move the queen because you don't have any squares for the queen. So what you do in this position is d captures on c3, sacrifice an entire queen, and after rook captures you play bishop captures. Bishop captures is the only move. Don't make the mistake of getting for rook captures, because this bishop captures and queen captures, and your position just absolutely crumbles. So here, after move like queen capture on c3, well, don't even think about that, man. If you go for queen capture on c3, just bishop to b2, and I have developed. I am very happy in this position. Queen has to go back. It doesn't have that many squares. You're going to play a passive move, and your pieces are not that developed. I'm going to take over your entire position with all of these pieces, get them coordinated, and you're going to lose the game. So here, after bishop captures on d1, what you have to understand is maybe a move like h6 makes sense, because you don't allow the bishop to jump in, and that would be a very bad move. So after the bishop to e3, now you start pushing and maybe just get the bishop into the game, and position is absolutely amazing. There is no issues. Both players are going to have to battle it out. You are up a queen, but if you consider, let's just take 3 pieces for the queen, but then again, I mean, there are 4 pieces, and then you have 3 pieces, so there is some compensation. I mean, not that enough compensation, but there is definitely some compensation. As long as the pieces remain there, there's going to be enough compensation. But here, after knight caps on c4, first a very nice inclusion by Murali. He goes for b5, just because I think in that line he didn't like the knight to be there on c4. It's just not a good knight, so he thought that maybe it's going to be a bit too powerful there in the future. So he pushes the knight to b2, but now it looks very bad. I mean, the knight on b2 with all these pieces there, and now he goes for it. Knight captures on c3, but here, without even a hesitation, here Aydin goes for d captures, and just rook captures was played, but just bishop captures, and now e6. E6 is a very nice move there. No issues now, no issues. But here Aydin goes for a very spectacular move. He goes for g4, and now what do you do in this position? I'm going to ask you to pause the video, try and think of this as prep, and hope and try and find out the best move in this position. Please have at it. So congratulations for everyone who did not move the bishop back, because the best move is bishop captures on g4. Yes, you have to sack. If you don't sack, your position just completely crumbles apart. But now your position is so good, you can play bishop to a3. And yes, next what's coming is not gonna be that good. So here just b4, just trying and trapping this bishop, but now this comes queen captures on c3, the move that you are hoping to play this entire game, and now everything is forced. You cannot make even a single like move which just wastes a tempo. You cannot do that in this position. Here just rook to e3 now, attacking the queen. queen has to move. But where does the queen move? Queen has no squares. I mean, you cannot go back now, because if you go back, just bishop falls. So now you have to play queen captures on b4, and now just comes knight to d3 with an attack towards the queen. You're not in time to actually capture it. You cannot go back, because the bishop would hang. There could be so many ideas of sacrificing knight. I mean, it's just such a bad position. There is only one move in this position, that is queen captures on g4 with a check. King goes to f1, and now you play bishop to d6, and your position is, I mean, it's holdable. Let's just say that, because it's very difficult position. Queen is on g4, and I mean, the white king is a little bit weak, but with all these pieces, once they get into the game, it's going to be very difficult to hold. So I mean, realistically, your chances are not that good, but if you can get the king in, get the rook into the position, maybe there are some chances for you, but it's still not a lot. So here, after g4, we have bishop to g6, but this just completely blunders the game, and this is not how you want to play this. Now Aydin plays the only move in this position that actually wins in the game, which is this bishop to g5, and the queen doesn't have any squares. You cannot go back. Everything is just crossed off here. So the bishop is attacking the queen. There are not many squares, and you have to just capture the pawn. So he goes for queen capture on c3, but now just comes your rook to c1, and the problem is that knight is falling. Here queen caps on b2, only move, rook caps on c6, and just king to b7 was played. But the problem with this position is now comes knight to e5, and what do you even do? That rook is protected, and now unfortunately in this position you have to give up your queen. Otherwise the position is just completely lost, because now bishop to b4, if you try to just develop the bishop, get the rook into the game, let's say you try to do that, but now just comes bishop to f3, and where are you going? There is no squares, there is nothing in this position. And even if you try to go for bishop caps on e1, just grabbing a complete rook, now comes rook to c2, and it opens up a discovery, and now your queen is falling. I mean, king to a6, rook captures. It's just 4 pieces against 3 pieces, completely lost with up even pawns. I mean, this is not a position you want to play. But here after knight to e5, Murali just did everything he could. He tried to go for queen caps on e5, but after this rook captures, and now just going for this rook king captures, you have to understand the material is equal. There is no difference in material. It's about the position. Just look at the position of the pieces. They are so active here that you can just get this with a tempo, get this with a tempo, get the rook captures. It's just really bad position. And even with the bishop getting in here, you cannot get the rook in time. You cannot defend your king. Your king is wide in the open, and it's going to be a very bad position here. Just bishop to f3 check, king to b6, bishop to d8 check, king goes back, and now after a4, I mean, your position just completely falls apart here. You're just basically playing a piece down. But here bishop to d3 was tried, but now just comes this, and here bishop to c5, a captures, bishop captures, rook captures, and now just going for rook captures, maybe hoping that you've solved all your problems. But now just comes this very nice bishop caps on b5 with a check, and king to b6 attacking both the pieces, but now just comes b4. Yeah, I mean, I think this is where Murali should have resigned, but he tried for a few more moves, because I mean, you don't should never give up. I mean, basically somewhere along the line your opponent can make a mistake. So here just a5 he tries for, but just bishop to a4, a captures, rook to b5 check, king to c7, and rook caps on b4, rook to d5, rook to f4, and f5. Maybe you can just get a draw, but it's very difficult. Here just bishop to b3, rook to e5, g captures, e captures, bishop to b8 was played, just trying to go after the pawn, but just g6, bishop caps on h7, we have rook to e7. But yeah, it was on this move, on just after playing rook to h4, that on move 40, that Murali Karthikeyan resigned this game, and Aydin Suleymanli played this near perfect game where he outplayed him in his own in his opponent's own opening preparation, and that's really good. So I think if Murali didn't, if Murali Karthikeyan didn't make that mistake of actually just not going with the bishop back, he would have been absolutely fine, and possibly even trying to go for a win. But yeah, he just couldn't bring himself to actually sacrifice a piece there. And yeah, sometimes when you're just going all the way, it's always good to go all the way and not hesitate at all. He hesitated, and that's what cost him this game. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, and definitely I'm going to be covering the FIDE Swiss 2025. So stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.